Hello and welcome. I'm Thomas. This is channel called Wonder of Existence. Today we've got a very interesting topic to talk about, which is reality. Amazing topic, don't you think, Mike?
That's why I'm here. It's the most interesting topic going.
Huge one. I'm pretty sure we're going to divide that into some sections or series or something like that, because we cannot basically describe what we want within 30 minutes or so. At least we need a couple of hours at least. But let's kick it off with a very basic question. How do you see the reality? What do you think reality is here? How do you see it from your perspective? What does it mean to see the reality or to be in the reality?
I think if we start with a subject like this, with a topic like this, we have to first have 5 minutes of silence. We don't do that, but you need it, for it's so immensely huge. Reality. Well, for me, it begins with myself. What do I see as a reality? And then the strange thing happened in my life that you as a boy you experience your world, and then you think, well, this is not, my world is not the only thing that exists. There is more than my world. And, well, you have, of course, you have, if you were born in Holland, you have Belgium, Germany, you start to see they talk other languages, but there is some point that you see there is possible a reality that we don't see. So in the beginning, as a child, you come into the church and they're talking about heaven and hell. What is that? Is that reality? And you come over it, but still those questions of realms that you don't see, they exist. Those questions, and then you see, well, somebody told me about, well, a thought, what are the elements, what are the particles of thought? And that question is a real strange question, because you can't see a thought. It has no particles. So that's another dimension. So reality has grown. And sometimes you feel your own borders. Well, I can't come through the border of the border. Yeah, there is another world, but I can't come through with my senses. So I have to look for another entrance without the senses of the physical, because they just make you blind for other. You can't see a thought. So your eyes are not giving you information about a thought. You have to do it with other, maybe senses, maybe not senses, I don't know. So that's, well, that makes it very complex, this question of this topic of reality.
But do you believe that even if there's a heaven and hell, as some religions claim, do you think that this is also part of the reality, or this is different reality, and we are in some sort of sub-reality, or maybe it's just one big reality, and everything is real and unreal at the same time?
As a teenager, I just like to tell people that heaven and hell didn't exist. It's nice to do, because you can get a reaction of all the people, and but I think it's a reality, but it's a reality. You can't trust other people if they talk about it, because if they're a little bit the same as you are, they also don't know what it is heaven and what is hell. So if they talk about it, you know that they are well, mostly I put the question, well, how do you know that? That's not a question with religious people. It's difficult to talk with them about how they got the information about their heaven or their hell. So I think it's a reality, but as long as we are blinded by our senses, we can't get in that reality.
That's exactly the point. So we, in order to say that this is reality, we would need to define what a reality is, right? But how to define reality if you don't know if this if what you see is real? To you, it is real. You just you're born into reality.
Is an experience. As long as you've had an experience, you can call it a reality. Whether it's the reality, that's up for debate, and that's been debated a long time. And the outcome is most people will, who philosophize over that, will say, no, it is subjective. Reality, we don't know what the real reality is, but we can experience a sense of reality, and it is experience that defines it. If you have an experience, that is your reality. That is reality. The experience is always real.
So you define this reality
even if it's only
on the
thought.
experience.
Well, yeah, the experience is
So you mean
all
if you can
have.
experience something, it means this is real.
Yeah, even if you're making it up, you're experiencing a reality. Even if you know you're making it up, you could experience something and say, yeah, but the experience was just an idea I had. Did I really experience? But you experienced the idea. So again, you've created the reality of the idea as an experience. And experience is all we know. We don't know anything other than experience. If you go back to the information talk we had, if you get information through, you can discuss where that information came from, what it is, what the source is and all that. But you had an experience of receiving information. That is what you have, and that is then your reality. Somebody else who doesn't have that experience can question that experience as a reality because they don't know it.
Okay, but let me follow your path then. If I follow your path, and it means that if whatever we experience here defines our reality, so this way we can say, oh yes, this is real because we experience something, so this is real. What about if you take some drugs and you fly away, sort of fly away? You subjectively, you think that this is real, what happens to you.
Well, it is.
Obviously, we don't know even if it's real or it's not real. Let's say that if it's real, you just move to the different realm, different reality. Is it still something real to you, and is it still real to me? Or if you escape this reality and you go to the different reality, is this other reality is as real to you as this one?
Well, yeah.
And is it still real to me as well?
Yeah,
because I'm not part of this
reality. Because you
reality.
experience it as a reality, therefore it is a reality.
So to you this will be real, but not to me,
Yeah.
because I'm not part of this program. I'm in program like I'm not taking drugs at that point, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm allowed to now, to come to a metaphor that I use when I'm thinking about reality, and that's story. For me, everything is thought, and thought creates stories. And those stories are realities, and we experience our lives here, our physical lives. This is just one story, and within this one story, there's lots of sub-stories because everybody is living their own story. Therefore, they're having their own experience of reality. And for some people, they might believe one thing and other people might not believe it. But it doesn't mean that one is right and the other is wrong. It means they just experience differently. So their reality is different, but through their experience. I tend to believe that there are endless dimensions and endless realities from my own experiences, and not that I take drugs or anything to experience those, but I do dream, and dream for me is a study that I'm really fascinated in, and I dream lucidly, so I go to places with my consciousness and my awareness intact, and I study them as alternate physical realities. And for me, that tells me that is a reality. I know it's taken place, or I know I've accessed it in my mind, but I can never tell if it is just in my mind or is outside my mind, and it is actually an objective reality. But my experience is an objective reality. So I use that, and I tend to choose to believe in that extra reality as a separate from this reality, because you can never know whether you're just dreaming this one as well. You would not know. All you have is your experience of it. So I experience those other realities through dreaming, lucid dreaming, body experience. I experience those as real realities, and I experience this one when I come back through the reference to that my belief system tends to tell me that, well, I might as well accept this one as a dream reality, and then that makes everything equal. That creates a story for me, a story that explains everything, including this reality. Instead of just saying this is the base reality, this is the real reality, and everything else is imagination. No, I believe that this is also imagination from a base reality, which is the base is thought and imagination. Imagination is the base reality, and it tells stories which create realities, and this is one of them. And from here we can also branch off to other reality. But reality is the closest you can come is reality is an experience.
And for you?
Yeah.
Reality? 1 and 0.
Let me just ask one additional question,
Yeah.
to Mike, or to you both actually, but mainly to Mike, because what he just said, maybe this additional question, I think it's good to be asked right now. Let's assume that you have the OBE. You just leave your body, your physical body. You're still conscious. You know that you left your body. You see your body lying on the ground.
Wow.
You're not dead,
No.
but you just physically left your physical body.
Yeah.
And you, as your real you are here, but your physical body, your suit, is just lying on the ground. You see the reality, which you tend to say it's illusion. But it's real, because even if you leave your body and you look from the side, you still see that it exists. It doesn't disappear when you leave your body.
Well, it can, yes. It can. And this is a topic for another discussion, because this is massive discussion.
I just want to touch this, scratch it a bit.
I used it in a time when I was thinking about this. Is imagine the physical world as a sheet of paper.
As a
sheet of paper.
Sheet of
An
paper.
A4. Piece of paper.
Yeah.
On top of that is another piece of paper. On top of that is another piece of paper. And you end up with, say, 500 pieces of paper. It's that thick. And if you call the first one the physical reality, that's the base reality. For some reason, our, say, soul, our spirit, is embedded in this reality for an experience as the base reality. What happens after you die is you go to another base reality. But for this experience of being human, this is our base reality. So when we sleep, we always come back. When we leave our body, we always come back. But it is no more real than the reality that's just above it, or the reality that's just above that. And every sheet of paper on top, imagine you turn the sheet, so say the top one is the base reality, and you write on it. The under one is going to get an imprint. The under one of that is going to get less of an imprint, but it's still going to have an imprint, and so on down. And eventually, the imprint will disappear because you haven't reached far enough. And that's how I see the different dimensions, that you can go so far away from this reality that it doesn't have anything to do with this reality anymore.
Yeah.
In out-of-body experiences, unless you have a near-death experience, which you can shoot right down that pile, or drugs will take you also deep into that pile that has nothing to do with this reality. But when you have normal out-of-body experiences, or even dreams, it's so close that you still get an imprint of this. So when you actually see your body, you're not seeing your body in this reality. You're seeing it as a sort of overlay from the underlying thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't always see your body. So I mean, it's not as clear cut as that you leave your body and suddenly you're in this reality as a sort of ghost. You're not. You're in another dimension, another reality that is overlaid with this one, where you can get information from this reality, that an imprint, and that seems like it's part of the new reality. So you can't really tell the difference. But massive subject.
Yeah, but that touches this point where people who went through the OB or NDE, they claim that whenever they saw the body lying on the ground, they felt no relation whatsoever with this body anymore. They didn't want to go back. They didn't feel like it's part of them. It's not them.
Yeah.
It's basically like I am who I am here, and I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I see it's me, but I'm not interested. If I need to go, I go. I don't care about that piece of costume lying on the ground. That would suggest that, I mean, it's sort of it goes in accordance to what you said. You just said that, you know, you might be seeing this body, but not being part of the same reality anymore. You sort of have an access to see this reality, but this reality is behind some glass wall, and it's not interested to you anymore because you're on a different layer. And we know that people who take drugs, they might most likely jump through several or at least few glass walls.
Yeah.
And they are so disconnected from the physical reality so that what they see is completely out of space to them. They cannot understand a single thing. And they start saying, like, they start seeing some strange entities telling them strange things. All is so odd that they cannot understand that. They say that this must be just a matter of drugs. They work this way, and my brain starts producing this kind of thoughts. But it's a different story, because I don't believe it's like that. But we can talk about it maybe next time when we talk about OB, ND, maybe.
Okay, to ask you now, what your idea of reality was. So before the camera runs out, let's hear this one.
My way of seeing reality, I think it's quite similar to yours, but I still look at this throughout the layer of technology. Technology is something which, to me, is a part of all kind of civilization. So we are sort of entities jumping into the suits. We are here as human beings, but with some level of technology allowing us to perform some tasks or activities. But if we look at the people who claim that they discuss some things with different civilizations of different entities, physical entities, or physical to them, because that might be also a different story, they know that they are in position to use technology so advanced that it seems like unreal, but it's still real. It's just so advanced that you cannot understand that. And that gives me this idea that perhaps reality, which we perceive as real, it is real to us because we are here, but it might be simply created for us to experience for some reason, not necessarily by God, if we call it like that. But I still believe that there's this source of energy which exists, and will exist. And most likely we are part of this.
Which we all have in common. The basis of what you're saying is that you believe that your real identity is outside of this reality. Correct. And you believe that too. And I believe that too. I mean, it's but it's what we're doing here. We all think the same way, but we've got different
different paths. We're going through
different
paths.
different expressions of it,
Mhm.
different
Correct.
stories to explain it.
Because I look at it throughout the technology.
That's your
But-
story. That's your expression form.
My metaphor. Maybe it's even
Yeah,
metaphor.
it's
Maybe
a metaphor,
Maybe it's not real because we don't even know how to say that something's real because we cannot define that.
That's
To
what
be
you
honest.
always come back onto that. You always find out, and nobody's been able to answer it yet. What is real? What is reality? You know, we can't do it. We don't know.
No, but
It's always going to be a story we tell ourselves and a belief system we have about what it can be, but we can never prove it, and therefore we just hang on to one particular system or model that we want to use, and we have a preference for some models and not others.
We have also, we know the things we would hope to
Yeah.
be reality, and that's always, you have
Yeah.
to be able to speak about it. Well, you hope the technical, that's a hope for you, that it's some sort of
Well, it could be
reality.
a hope. It could also be
Well, it
a
can be different.
could be a fear.
Vanity, can all
It
those
could be a
things
fear
be-
as well. I
fear
fear that that's
or-
right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's right,
Yeah.
and that scares the hell out of me.
You have fear, and hope, vanity, and the
Because-
hope technical solutions is always
Yeah.
from out of fear most of the time.
I think most of us, most people are they adopt a certain idea about it, whatever makes them feel the safest.
Yeah.
And gives them some comfort, and that's why some people believe in God and hold onto some kind of idea that so they're not left alone,
And they take.
and
they,
they're not
their
going to
fear
be.
is taken
Oh, yeah.
away.
The fear is taken away through that, but they can fear God as well, It's and the fear doesn't always go because they can always fear that they might not actually be accepted, but they find that they hold on to it because it gives them comfort, and for some people, it's exciting and gives them more comfort because they can't accept the God story, so they could go to, say, computers. It makes a lot more sense, or
Particles.
particles, it just makes more sense, and it gives them some kind of security to help them steer through their own lives. And other things can scare the hell out of them.
That's something to also to talk about. But, gentlemen, I think that for now that would be it. Let's stop. Let's park. Let's call it like this. Let's park it right here. Let's come back to this topic again because we just touched this topic. I want to dive even more. Let's
fine.
talk about it next time. So thank you very much, guys. I hope to see you next time. Feel free to join us and enjoy the discussions, endless discussions.